This is Fitness Blender's shoulder and neck routine for stiffness and fatigue. This routine is comprised of two sections. The first one is exercises to strengthen and tone the neck and shoulders, and the second is corrective stretches to help relieve tension. All you're going to need for this routine is a set of dumbbells and an optional exercise mat or physio ball. This first section consists of 3 exercises, and we're going to be going through 3 total sets. Let's go ahead and start with set number 1 of the first section. The first exercise is a prone chin tuck. You can do this off of a physio ball or a bench, or even off of the edge of a coffee table or your bed. Get ready, and begin. Now you want to be laying somewhere where your head is free, where you can actually lay it back pretty far. So you're just going to lay that head back as far as is comfortable, as far as you can stretch, and then pull it up to that chest as tight as is comfortable. You don't want to over-exaggerate this motion whatsoever, because that neck is a really vulnerable area. So you want to make sure you lay that head back just as far as you can control, then nice and slow bring it up to that chest as tight as is comfortable, but you don't want to really worry about trying to touch it all the way to your chest. Just get a nice tight squeeze to the front of that neck. Just keep going back and forth. We're doing 14 repetitions here. If you're doing it off of a physio ball like I am here, then it's just going to add a little bit more into that core, make those abdominal muscles and lower back and obliques work just a little bit harder, as well as those hamstrings and butt muscles. And this is your last one right here. Nice tight squeeze. And let it relax. All right, this next one, we're actually going to flip you over. This is the supine head raise. You're face down on this one. Pretty much the same exact motion, just reversed. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, you want that head nice and free. Tuck that chin into that chest as far as is comfortable. Then arch it up back behind you as much as is comfortable. Again, really watch how far you arch that head, how far you arch that neck, because you don't want to push further than you can control, further than is comfortable for that neck. It's very easy to injure that neck, so just work in a limited range of motion until you know it's not going to affect you. Also keep in mind that though we're going for 14 repetitions in this video, you don't necessarily need to do 14 repetitions to start out with. That neck, for most people, is really actually quite of a weak spot. So you might not be able to get to 14 repetitions before that neck starts to fatigue. So just do as many as you can. You can always add more as that neck becomes more and more strong. We're almost done. And there's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. All right, next one, we're going to move on to your side. So laying on that left side, we're actually going to be using the right side of your neck. Again, 14 repetitions. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now you're laying on that left side. Remember, you don't necessarily need to use a physio ball for this. You can actually just lay out on the side of a bench, on your bed, or even on a coffee table if you have one of those that's sturdy enough. You just want to give that neck a nice amount of room to move back and forth. So this time, just letting it lay to the left as far as possible, then lifting it up to the right as tight as is comfortable. Just remember, again, watch that range of motion. You don't want to try to exaggerate this too much. It's just as much as is comfortable, as much as you can control. Just got a couple more repetitions. And here's your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So switch over so you're laying on your right side this time, using the left side of that neck. Ready? And begin. Remember, same thing, just limited range of motion at first, just as far as you can control, as far as is comfortable. Then you can always start adding more and more range of motion in as long as you know that's not going to affect you. You might even be feeling a pretty decent stretch on this one as you drop that head down to the side, depending on how tight those shoulders are, how tight that neck is. And remember, we're trying to do this to relieve tension in that neck and make it stronger. We don't want to injure it. So always use really nice, slow, controlled motions. You want to feel like you can stop that head through that entire range of motion at any point. Like I said before, just don't worry about trying to push that range of motion. Just nice, small, limited range of motion at first. You can always make it bigger when you know it's not going to affect you. This is your last one right here. And go ahead and let it relax. All right, moving on to the next one. This is the back bow. So you're just going to be flat down on the ground with this one. Just need a mat if you need a little extra cushion. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Hover those hands and feet off the ground. You want to get a nice high arch with your lower back. Try to keep those arms perfectly straight, those legs perfectly straight. Nice tight squeeze at the top. Now this one's to help you out with that posture a little bit, help pull those shoulder blades back a little bit, help give that back a little bit more strength to keep that spine nice and erect when you're sitting in a chair or something like that. Really, really helps for those of you who are going to be working in an office somewhere, sitting in front of a computer for long periods of time. We're almost done, just a few more repetitions. Nice tight squeeze, got one more. And let it relax. All right, we're moving on to our next one. This is a dumbbell reverse fly, so grab those dumbbells for this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. That back stays perfectly flat. You can let those knees bend a little bit if you need to. Those arms going to come up and forward in front of that shoulder just a little bit. So you want to raise them up, out to the side, and a little bit in front. So when you end, you want your hand a little bit above the height of your shoulder and up kind of towards where that ear is. So it's kind of level with your ear out to the side. You don't want it by your shoulder. You want it actually a little bit above your shoulder, a little forward of your shoulder. So nice tight squeeze as high as you can, as high as it's comfortable. You don't need a whole lot of weight when you first start doing these. You can always start adding more weight in. Main thing you want to focus on is that form. You want to keep that back perfectly flat. You start letting that back round out and you're actually going to give yourself even more back issues. We're almost done, just a few more repetitions. And that's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. And we're going to move on to the next one. This is a rotating shoulder shrug. Now start out with a really nice light amount of weight for this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now when you first do these, you might not even need any weight at all. So just do it with the weight of your arm. Otherwise, start with something really small like a pair of 2s or 3s, something like that. But you're going to do a nice tight squeeze up to your shoulder. So it's going to start in front of your body, pulling those shoulders together in front of your chest. Squeeze them up into that neck really nice and high, and then pull them behind you as you let them drop back down. And then reverse the motion. So squeeze up back behind you, up to that neck, and then drop them forward as you let those neck muscles relax through those traps. So nice and slow, back and forth. Kind of making an upside down U motion with that shoulder. As those neck muscles become stronger and stronger, you can always start using heavier and heavier weight. But if you don't want to look like a football player, then you shouldn't have to worry about going much over 15 to 20 pounds. Just start adding more and more repetitions in to help build that tone and that endurance to that neck and shoulder. Should have a couple more repetitions. Back and front, and one more. Tight squeeze up. Bring those shoulders back forward. And let it relax. All right, that was the end of set number 1. Let's move on to set number 2. All right, let's start again with that prone chin tuck. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, keep that head free so it can move. Drop it back as far as is comfortable, and then tuck that chin up to your chest as tight as you can get it without feeling any kind of pain or discomfort. Then nice and slow, drop it back. Just try to keep your lungs open while you're doing this. Remember, don't push that range of motion. It's just as far as you can control, as far as is comfortable. Almost done, just a couple more repetitions. And your last one right here. And let it relax. Alright, let's go ahead and flip it over onto your stomach for the supine head raise, that same exact motion but in reverse. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Let that head drop down as far as is comfortable, as far as that head will stretch. Then arch it up nice and high as is comfortable, as high as you can control. Just keep that motion going, nice and slow under control. Remember, don't exaggerate that range of motion. Don't try to push past your limits. Just a nice, slow, fluid motion. Alright, just a couple more repetitions. Here's your last one right here. And go ahead and let it relax. Alright, let's move you on to your left side for this next one. Working on the right side of that neck. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Drop that head off to the left as far as it'll go. And nice and slow, squeezing it up to the right. Make sure you keep your face looking straight forward. Don't look left or right or up or down. You want to just move that head left to right. No rotation in that head. No looking to the left, no looking to the right. Just tipping it back and forth. Remember, limited range of motion to begin with. Just see how that neck responds. You can always add in a little bit more range of motion later on. Almost done, just a couple more repetitions. And here's your last one right here. And let it relax. Alright, let's flip you over onto your right side, working the left side of that neck next. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Down to the right as far as is comfortable, and then up to the left as high as you can. Nice tight squeeze as far as it's comfortable. Just back and forth, nice slow controlled motion. Just have 2 more repetitions. And there's your last one right here. And let it relax. Alright, go ahead and kick that ball out of the way. Flat down in your stomach for this next one, the back bow. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Arms and feet hovering off the ground. Arch them both up nice and high, keeping your legs and arms perfectly straight. Biceps right next to those ears. Just get a nice tight squeeze in that lower back. As much range of motion as you can up. Nice and slow back down. Try to hover those hands and feet. If that back's not quite strong enough to do that, then you can always let those hands and feet touch every repetition. Just for a split second, give yourself a tiny bit of rest, and then right back up again. Almost done, just 2 more repetitions. And here's your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, moving on to the dumbbell reverse fly. Go ahead and stand up, grab those dumbbells. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, nice flat back. Those knees can be bent. Nice and slow. Pull those arms up and out to the side. Don't swing those arms, and it's just a nice, slow, controlled motion. Tight squeeze across that upper back from shoulder to shoulder. Remember, you want those hands just a little bit in front of that shoulder, and you want to try to get them a little bit above the height of your shoulder as you come up. So nice, tight squeeze each time. Just a little bit of a bend in that elbow. You can always build that amount of weight up as you need to, but start out with something nice and light just to get that form down first. Just got a few more repetitions. One left. And let it relax. All right, moving on to that last one, that rotating shoulder shrug. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Those dumbbells start in front of that thigh, shoulders pulled in, squeeze them up nice and high, drop them back behind you as you pull those shoulders behind you, and then reverse that motion. Back and front, squeezing those shoulders together. Nice slow fluid motion, tight squeeze up to the top. Remember, you don't need a whole lot of weight for this one. It's more about repetitions, building up endurance and tone, than it is trying to build a whole bunch of muscle tissue and strength. Just keep that motion going nice and slow under control. Nice tight squeeze the top each time. All right, just 2 more repetitions. And here's your last one right here. Nice tight squeeze up. Squeeze those shoulders back and then back forward again. And let it relax. All right, that's the end of round number 2. So we've got 1 more to go through. Let's go ahead and start it up again with that prone chin tuck. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, you want that head nice and free so it can move around. Lay that head back as far as is comfortable, as far as you can control. Then tuck it up to that chest as far as is comfortable. Remember, limited range of motion at first. You can always build that range of motion more later on down the line. It's all dependent upon how flexible that neck is and how strong it is. Just take your time. Nice, slow, controlled motions. Just a couple more repetitions. It's your last one right here. And go ahead and let it relax. All right, let's flip you over. Gonna go ahead and do that supine head raise. Get ready. And begin. Let that head drop down in front of you, then arch it up nice and high. Just remember, watch that range of motion. Don't push past your limits. Just as high as is comfortable, as high as you can control. Just keep that motion going nice and slow, and make sure you're not pushing past that comfort zone. Just 2 more repetitions. It's your last one right here. Arch it up. And let it relax. All right, we're going to move you on to that left side. Working the right side of that neck. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Drop that head off to the left. Pull it up to the right. Nice tight squeeze just as far as is comfortable. Remember, don't push that range of motion. Only go as far as you can control. Only as far as is comfortable. Just keep that motion nice and slow under control. Just 2 left. And here's your last one right here. Nice tight squeeze. And go ahead and let it relax. All right, moving on to that right side of that side neck raise. Get ready. And begin. Just remember, don't push that range of motion. Get a nice tight squeeze, but only as far as it's comfortable, only as far as you can control. Just keep that motion going nice and slow, concentrating on that form. And just 2 more repetitions left. Your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, moving on to the ground for that back bow. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now, if you can, remember, keep those hands and feet hovering off the ground the entire time. Otherwise, if that back's getting a little bit too tired, go ahead and let those hands and feet touch down for just a second before you lift them back up each repetition. Arms and legs should be perfectly straight, arching that back up as high as you possibly can, as high as is comfortable. Keeping those biceps right next to your ears the entire time. Make sure you're looking down towards the mat. You don't want to arch that head up. Just keep it nice and slow under control. Just have a few more repetitions. 2 left. And your last one. And let it relax. All right, go ahead and stand up. Grab those dumbbells for that dumbbell reverse fly. Get ready. And begin. Remember, those dumbbells are coming up and out to the side. You want them just a little bit in front of that shoulder, up by those ears, and try to get those hands higher than that shoulder height if at all possible. But one of the most important things you want to focus on is making sure you're keeping that back completely flat. You don't want to let that back round out at all. If you start letting that back round, especially if you start doing this exercise with more weight, you're actually going to start causing more problems with your back than you're helping. Just a couple more repetitions. And here's your last one right here. Nice tight squeeze at the top. And let it relax. All right, moving on to that last one, that rotating shoulder shrug. It's the last one of this last set. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Pull those shoulders up and back, and slowly up and back forward. Nice slow squeeze, pulling them up. Try to get as much rotation out of that shoulder as you can, squeezing them forward in the front, then pulling them back behind you as you go back, and then forward again. Just a couple more repetitions. And one more. Bring those arms back forward and let it relax. All right, that's the end of section number 1. We're going to move on to section number 2, corrective stretching. We got 4 stretches to go through. The first one is a wall chest stretch. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Place that left hand up on the wall, thumb facing up towards the ceiling, fingers facing back behind you. Step with those feet and kind of arch that chest out, stretch that chest out to the side, trying to roll those shoulders away from that hand as far as you possibly can. You want to feel this through the front of that chest and the front of that shoulder. If you're feeling it more in your bicep, then you just need to turn the inside of that elbow either facing up or facing in, and it should get that bicep to relax. Just hold it for a little bit longer. We're going for about 45 seconds total. And we're almost done. And there you go. Go ahead and let it relax right there. We're going to switch sides so that right hand comes up on the wall. Same thing, thumb facing up towards the ceiling, fingers facing back behind you, and stretch that chest in the opposite direction from that hand. So try to pull it back behind you as far as possible. Almost done. And let it relax. All right, moving on to the next one. This is a wall shoulder stretch. Those hands are going to go up just above shoulder height. Press that head and chest down towards the wall. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Go ahead and place those hands. Stagger those feet. Press that head and chest down towards the base of the wall. You want to try to basically get those arms back behind your chest as much as you possibly can. Open up that shoulder joint. Should feel it in those lats a little bit as well. Down through the side of that rib cage. Go ahead and switch those feet if you want to. You don't necessarily have to. Just make sure from time to time you use a different foot forward. Almost done. And let it relax. Alright, we've got the three-way neck stretch coming up next. We're doing this on both the left and the right side. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. We're going to start by reaching down towards the ground with that right hand, leaning your head off to the left side. Should feel a nice stretch from your ear all the way down to the tip of your shoulder. We're going to hold this for about 30-45 seconds, and then we're going to switch so you're looking down towards your shoulder. So just keep that face looking straight forward, just leaning that head sideways. Almost done. And go ahead and look down towards that shoulder. You're still going to be leaning away from that right shoulder off to the left side, but this time you're looking down towards that left shoulder. You should feel that stretch roll more into the back of your neck. And go ahead and look up towards the ceiling. Still leaning away from that right shoulder, leaning off to the left. You should feel that stretch roll more into the front of your neck now. Still reaching down towards the ground with that right hand. And let it relax. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So reach down towards the ground with your left hand this time, leaning your head off to the right. Again, you should feel that stretch from up behind your ear all the way down to the tip of that shoulder. Constantly reaching down with that left hand. Almost done. And now look down towards that right shoulder. Still reaching down with that left hand. Again, you should feel that stretch roll into the back of your neck a little bit more. Hold it for a little bit longer. And now look up towards the ceiling. Should feel that stretch roll into the front of your neck. Again, still leaning away towards that right side, reaching down with that left hand. Almost done. And let it relax. All right, let's move down to the floor. We're going to do the Cobra stretch next. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Those hands are going to start back by that waist. Slowly press into the ground, arching that chest up nice and high, putting all your weight into the palm of those hands, trying to shove those shoulders down away from your neck, kind of tilting that head back a little bit, looking up towards the ceiling just a tiny bit. You want to feel that stretch all the way through the front of your thigh, into the front of your hip, all the way through your abdominal muscles, and possibly even into a little bit of that chest. Just hold it there nice and comfortable. You might not be able to get this much arch through your back, but just try to go as far as you can. Hold it for a little bit more. And go ahead and let it relax. And that's your last stretch right there. That completes the stretching and strength routine for your neck and shoulders. Don't forget, go to fitnessblender.com for more full-length workout videos and much, much more.